Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with Pacific Net Producer Magazine, reporting to you from the annual convention of the Almond Alliance of California. I'm here with Stacy Henderson. She's the official attorney of Almond Alliance. She does a fantastic job. Every year they have you as one of the featured speakers at this convention, and you always have a lot to say. And it's just about protecting their interests. There's a lot of employers here. You know, as agricultural employers, there's a lot of issues that we want to avoid to stay out of legal trouble. And it's especially important to keep on top of in California, a place like California. So one of the things you talked about today was when it's appropriate to fire an employee. It's always kind of a hard decision, and you also want to do it in an appropriate way so that you don't get sued for doing it for the wrong reasons. Can you tell us about how to go about this, what can be a difficult process?
Sure, no problem. Terminating is one of the hardest things that you do, but it is something that needs to be done when your employees are not following your policies and they're breaking your rules. So for all employers, the most important thing is just effective enforcement of your policies, right? Have good policies in place, train your employees, and then demand compliance with your policies. If your employees are not following your policies, if they're breaking your rules, they're not taking their meal and rest periods when they're supposed to, they're not clocking in and out when they're supposed to, you need to discipline them. And you do that using a written form. It can be a very simple form, but you need to discipline effectively. You need to talk to them about what the rule is that they're violating, and if they continue to violate your rules, at some point you have to let them go, because the more they violate, the more risk you have that they're going to come after you in the future. Because those rules, some of them are rules that they have to comply with or they can sue you, even if they say they're waiving it. So we want to effectively discipline our employees, and then we want to have a discussion with them, and then you want to ultimately terminate. As long as you're terminating for a legitimate business purpose, and violation of company policies is a legitimate business purpose, that's where you're going to be protected. So use your forms, talk with the employees, and then ultimately once you make the decision that somebody has to go, don't apologize for it, right? You're letting them go because it's something that you have to do because they're not following the rules. So don't apologize, discipline with confidence, and terminate with confidence.
And then you also mentioned, record keeping is a critical part, and that's something that we often just don't think about. We're busy in our lives, but there's certain things that when you keep records, you can have documentation to verify in case some kind of litigation comes. So could you address that a little bit too?
Sure. So that's where using a form is very, very helpful. You want to use a form that says this is what the employee did wrong. If you don't have any documentation, then it's up to you to prove what happened. And the employee is always going to remember things differently than you remember them. And so it becomes a he said, she said in a lot of circumstances. And so if you have documentation in their file, then when they go and talk to a lawyer, the lawyer will see that you have given them the training that they need, you've given them the policies that they need, and then you've disciplined them for violating those policies. So it really helps to defeat a wrongful termination claim and to really squash it from the outset of when they go and see a lawyer.
Yeah, so in this form, it'd say something like, on this day, so-and-so did this. On this day, they forgot to do this. It could just be a simple form.
Very simple form. So I have a standard disciplinary action form that you can check a box that says verbal counseling, written counseling, or suspension or demotion. You can check what the disciplinary action is going to be, and then you just do a simple explanation of what occurred. But you do want to put an explanation of something so that they know what it is that they've done wrong, and then they know your expectations moving forward.
That's great. Thank you so much, Stacy. Read more about the proceedings of the Almond Alliance Convention in Pacific Net Producer Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.